Hello folks and welcome to Monday's edition of Magoo Sports News. I am as always Magoo and we're going to have a look at what happened at the weekend. So hey, it's Monday, I know it's a bit sucky, but come on, it's a bank holiday and everyone's got the day off, so what better thing to do than to talk about all the action that happened at the weekend. So let's get cracking folks. So, straight to the action folks. What happened then at the weekend? Well, the Champions League final was on and it was a bit of a result that everyone was expecting. It was Barcelona 3, Manchester United 1. Now, I honestly thought that Manchester United had a chance, but after the game, there was no chance they were going to win it. It was absolutely impossible. I mean, the game was absolutely dominated by Barcelona, and even when Rooney scored, you're kind of thinking to yourself, oh, when is it going to be when Barcelona score their next goal? So, basically, what went wrong for Fergie? In my opinion, I have put together a little analysis of it. And first and foremost, I'd just like to say, why did he play the same team as he played away to Schalke? I mean, come on, Schalke are not Barcelona. Now, the thing is, Barcelona play the same style of football every single game. Yeah, they've got good players, but come on, there's a system you can play against that to nullify them. Jose Mourinho is the only coach I've ever known to play against Barcelona in a defensive sort of way. He counteracts their sort of midfield by putting Pepe in front of his back four, and this basically crowds the midfield out. It would have worked for Real Madrid had Pepe not got sent off in the first leg. So why Ferguson didn't do anything sort of similar to that, I don't know. This is what system I thought he should have used. Yeah, so as you can see, a little bit different to what Fergie had, but I honestly think those changes would have made a difference. I mean, what was Fergie thinking? He's going to go out and win 2 or 3-0 by playing 2 strikers? I don't think so. So let me just say this. Hernandez looked a bit nervous. He was offside so much in the first half. I think Berbatov would have been a better player. Berbatov is calm, he's experienced. Yeah, he's a bit of a sort of prima donna, but he is a good player at the end of the day. I think also Fabio. Why play Fabio? I mean, the guy hasn't started much this year. I think Rafael was fit, so I mean, Rafael is much more experienced in the team. I know they're twins and it's hard to tell them apart, but still, bit of a surprise there as well. I think also, yeah, I mean, Fletcher should definitely have played. The poor guy, he missed out on the Champions League final a couple of years ago, and he got himself fit for this game, almost fit. Maybe Fergie was a little bit worried about his fitness, but I still think Fletcher in front of the back floor, as I said, and they would have had a better result, I think. So, moving on. Let's have a look at the next piece of news. FIFA. Now they're in a hell of a lot of bother at the moment. It's all kicking off. It's happening as I speak on the news. What's happening now is basically Jack Warner and Osama bin Laden. No, not him. He was killed, wasn't he? Anyway, Mohammed bin Haman Osama Laden something or other. The pair of them have basically been suspended by FIFA. Now, this is causing such a stink, so much of a stink, that Jack Warner's now turning on FIFA themselves. They're all turning on each other, blaming each other for this, blaming each other for that. Now, what's happened also is that Jerome Valcke, who's the chief executive of FIFA, has sent an email to Warner saying that he didn't want Haman standing for FIFA president, and said to Warner, what does he think he can do? Just because he could buy the World Cup doesn't mean he can buy FIFA. So this is implying that Qatar now have bought the World Cup, which, like we didn't know. So it's all kicking off there. I honestly think this could be the beginning of the end for FIFA. Fingers crossed, because I hope so. I hate them, they're all scumbags. Anyway, I don't want to go on about it too much, but one more thing I'll say is that a fella called Dick Pound, now he, yeah, funny name, he basically was the former vice president of the International Olympic Committee, and he's actually suggested that FIFA should actually Sorry, not FIFA, all the football organisations should set up a breakaway league. If FIFA continue doing what they're doing, then they will have every right to do that. And I've been saying this, I said this last week, go for it, let's get a new system on the go and forget about FIFA. So let's have a look. What else? Sporting action. Huddersfield played Peterborough in the League One playoff final, and Peterborough comfortably won the game 3-0. Darren Ferguson is the manager. He's Alex Ferguson's son. He was the manager of Peterborough a couple of years ago, but left them to take on a bigger job, which was Preston North End. But they got relegated, so he went back to Peterborough, took them up, and Preston have gone down. Bit complicated, but kind of funny. Republic of Ireland beat Scotland in the Carling Cup of Nations. Well, it wasn't the final, but it was the game that basically decided who won the Carling Cup of Nations. Robbie Keane scored the goal, and he's on amazing form at the moment. He's banging in the goals left, right and centre. It's kind of funny how, he doesn't really have much of a contract with Tottenham. I think his contract's running out. I think he's looking for a new contract. So, Shay Given also made some spectacular saves. I think he's putting himself on the market as well because he doesn't want to stay at Man City. To be honest with you, Shay Given has always been a great keeper. He could go to pretty much any club he wanted. In the Formula 1, wow, what a race. I have to take my hat off and say I was wrong. The Formula 1 isn't that boring, but it was potentially going to be a fantastic race. Vettel led pretty much most of the race, swapping here and there because he changed his tyres and Button changed tyres, etc, etc. But Vettel had a huge lead, but then his tyres started to wear out, and Alonso and Button caught him up, looking like they're going to overtake him, but then there was a big crash. And what happened was they had to actually stop the race, pull all the cars into the pit lane so they could clear the cars that had crashed. And unfortunately, all the guys that got into the pit lane, which was everybody, they were allowed to change their tyres. So when they came back out for the 6 laps to finish, Vettel just sped away as he always does. So now he's a million points ahead, and Alonso's come out and said that basically Vettel's almost won it, which I've been saying for a few weeks now as well. But still, it was an exciting race. Into the tennis. Andy Murray played Michael Berrer. And basically, he beat him fairly comfortably, 6-2, 6-3, 6-2, but he went over on his ankle in the first set. How he managed to come out and win the second set and the third set, I don't know, but he did. And the trouble is, he's playing today, but will he be injured or will he be able to play? He's going to make a decision sort of in the next hour, but if he can play, he plays Viktor Troicki. And he's the 15th seed. If he beats him, he plays an unseeded player in the quarters, so could go all the way. Djokovic, Nadal and Federer all through as well, as you'd expect, so that's coming up, that's going to be good. In the cricket, rain was pretty much the only winner for the cricket. England pretty much finished on 491 for 5 after 4 days of cricket, or should I say 2 days of cricket and 2 days of rain, so that's looking like it's going to be a draw. Now the golf. Wow, what a tournament. The PGA Championships at Wentworth. This is the most prestigious tournament on the European Tour, and it was basically Luke Donald versus Lee Westwood. World number 2, which was Lee Westwood, against world number 1 Lee Westwood versus world number 2 Luke Donald. It went to a playoff between these two guys, and essentially whoever won the playoff would be world number 1. Amazing. Luke Donald came out on top, so we've got a new world number 1. Fantastic game of golf. Now, into the Super League, and basically there was a big result, and that was Warrington beat Leeds 42-6. I said before, Warrington are looking very strong. They could go all the way. Huddersfield, though, also won to keep up the pressure on Warrington, but Warrington are looking like the strong team at the moment. Castleford also back on track. They haven't had a win for 5 games, but they beat Harlequins 56-24, so fair play to them. So folks, let's have a look what's coming up this week in sport. Unfortunately, there's not a hell of a lot. Don't worry though, there are other things to do, I think. Anyway, we've got today the Championship playoff. This is the £18 million game. Reading take on Swansea at Wembley, 3 o'clock. Watch this game, it's going to be an absolute beauty. Also, the tennis continues. It's the second week of the French Open now. This is the major, so coming into the business end of it, quarterfinals, semi-finals, who can win? It's going to be very, very interesting. And also, if you're not wanting to watch any of the sport, keep an eye out for the football transfer window. It is amazing. Who's going to be going where? Who buys who? Gossip, rumour, it's all there. Keep an eye out for that. It's going to be an absolutely great transfer window because a lot of clubs have to do a lot of things. So yeah, the pop quiz. Seems like somebody got it right, but only after the second attempt. Yeah, I've still got the beard, but I'll shave it off for next time. So anyway, if you're wondering what the answer was, yep, this cheeky chappy here, he basically did this. So good on you for getting the result, and I'll have another pop quiz on Friday. I'll make something up, so we'll do something then. So folks, on to my user comment section, and the first user comment comes from Boom, and he says, should Ryan Giggs have owned up straight away? I honestly think he should have. I mean, to be fair, this woman, Imogen Thomas, she wanted the press, she wanted the news. She's got a Twitter account, and with these Twitter accounts, you can pretty much write whatever you want. So, I mean, everyone knew about it, but the newspapers couldn't actually say anything about it. So, by spending all this money on a super injunction, Ryan Giggs has just made himself look like more of a fool, and it's made a bit of a mountain out of a molehill. These things basically always come out, so he should have just come out after obviously clearing things up with his wife and said, I'm sorry, I had an affair, it was the wrong thing to do, and then moved on. Anyway, he also asked me, Scottish papers were allowed to mention this, but English papers weren't. Aren't we all British? Absolutely, we are all British indeed. But I think with the newspaper situation, I'm not too sure. I don't think Scottish newspapers were actually allowed to mention this as well. I think a super injunction does cover the whole of the UK. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. But like I said, with Twitter, these things all came out, and the government, obviously, the minister came out and spilled the beans on it. So it was going to come out in the end. So let's move on to the next comment, which comes from a fellow called Boom, and he basically says, what do I think about Berbatov not being at the game? Well, there's only one conclusion. He's leaving Manchester United. There's no reason why he didn't play Berbatov to start with. I mean, the thing is, Berbatov's more experienced, like I said earlier, so he will be leaving. I guarantee you, 2 weeks' time, Berbatov will be gone. Next user comment comes from Boom, and he basically says, who will win England versus Switzerland? Well, it's kind of obvious. I mean, England are at home. They've got much better players. Switzerland aren't in a good period at the moment. So England, I guarantee you, they'll win the game pretty comfortably. He also kind of said, are England sort of still a good team? They are. They're just... The trouble with England is that they've got so much pressure on them to play. The media are always on them. I think a lot of the players as well prefer playing for their clubs. And I think this also goes back to the FIFA thing. Why would you want to play for a World Cup when you know the organisation are a bunch of corrupt scumbags? I don't know. Anyway, I think also if Gerrard and Lampard don't play together, England will be just fine. So that's all for this week, folks. It was an absolutely fantastic weekend of sport. As there's not much sport on this week, go off and get some brownie points from your loved ones so that you can watch more sport next weekend. I'm going to leave you at that. I'll see you guys on Friday. Thanks for watching.